President Trump has just made it punishable by up to 1 year in prison for burning the American flag, and this has been unanimously met with objection, as it's a clear violation of our First Amendment rights. However, Senator Ted Cruz was quick to amend the order by adding 20 years hard labor to those who had unkind thoughts about Israel.
I came into Congress 13 years ago with the stated intention of being the leading defender of Israel in the United States Senate.
Another controversial Trump move was bringing in the National Guard in an effort to stop crime in D.C., leading to a 12-day murder-free streak, the longest since January of 2020. Trump says he will target Chicago next, leading many top Democrat leaders to call this tyranny. However, they did note that when they do tyranny, it's the good kind, but when Trump stops crime in our mismanaged cities, that's the bad kind.
Come out! Go inside now! Get in the house!
Surveillance state, debanking, all good. Trump stopping crime, bad. Clear? My name is Matt Fowler, and welcome to the MFer Show. Thank you very much for watching the inaugural episode of the MFer Show. I encourage you to come back here every week, Tuesday night at 6 p.m. Central, to watch the live MFer podcast, where I can interact with you in the chat and put the horrific things that you people say up on the screen.
What the hell is wrong with you people?
Playing demonetization roulette with you. Anyway, I think this National Guard thing is actually great. I mean, I've lived in progressive cities my entire life.
Ha! Gay!
And if they're not gonna clean up the city that they're tasked with cleaning up, then someone's got to do it. Trump's gonna backhand you into compliance. However, why the flag thing? Why does everything Trump does good also have to be coupled with something that's bad? Why does it have to be a complete 50-50? Hey guys, good news. We're gonna finally investigate the deep state scum who orchestrated Russiagate. However, Epstein list is a liberal hoax. Hey guys, we're going to reorder the international trading situation in favor of America so we stop getting a raw deal. Also, we're going to buy 10% of Intel and become fascist? What? And now we're going to force these progressive mayors to actually police their own cities, but if you burn the flag, you go to jail. Well, can we just cut out the bad parts? Can you just give us the Epstein list and let us burn the flag if we want?
Bunch of goddamn fucking hippies.
Not that I want to. I mean, if I saw someone doing that, I'd probably confront them about it, but it should be my right to do so if I choose it.
And that's my choice. Y'all ain't worth it.
And I don't know about that Intel thing. Someone's gonna have to key me in how that's just not, I don't understand how a state-run business is a good thing ever. But then again, I'm kind of an idiot, so I don't know. Someone educate me on this one. I sure as hell have no idea.
Are you stupid or something?
I mean, I'm still totally rooting for the guy. I want him to do a great job. I want him to do all the things he promised, and he's definitely delivered on some of them, but there's been a lot of weird things in the past few months that I'm just man.
What the hell's going on? I mean, what the hell is going on?
Stop serving up the left some wins, you know what I mean? Stop giving them these things that they can just run with, you know? It's like when you're in a comment section and someone keeps calling Trump, it's it's hard to argue against that one, you know? I don't think he is, but it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good. So please stop serving them dubs, man. So moving right along to some entertainment news.
Entertainment tonight. Dun, 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 dun.
There was a big article that came out over the weekend that the Fandom Menace, Nerd Sphere, movie talk guys were absolutely going nuts over. Disney's Boy Trouble. Studio seeks original IP to win back Gen Z men amid Marvel Lucasfilm struggles. Now, I'm obviously not going to sit here and point out what everyone's been pointing out, the absolute irony of having Marvel and Star Wars and then destroying those brands and being where'd the men go? That's been covered and done well, and they're 100% right. What I do think is hilarious is how much the culture has shifted since the last time the Orange Man was in office.
The scene here is so different than it was a few hours ago when people were happy and relaxed.
See, I was living in LA in the 20-teens, and when Trump got elected, oh boy, did they melt down about it.
Today is an act of resistance. We're wearing the pussy hats now,
And then what followed was the absolute feminization, propagandization of all content, all IP, especially beloved, popular, successful ones, were just crammed full of identity politics to try to correct all those toxic people who had the audacity to not vote for one of the most criminally entangled presidential candidates in history. They decided to turn everything into politics, whether it was movies or TV, books, comic books, stand-up comedy. I mean, everything was about defeating this guy. We're gonna resist. Are you? Okay, cool. But the thing is, you can't do that again. You know, you can't destroy everything twice.
What did it cost?
Everything.
It is now official. CNN projects that Donald Trump has been elected president, defeating Vice President Kamala Harris.
You already just let that ship has sailed, sunk, and turned into a reef by now, and there's really nowhere for you to go. At this point, you just kind of have to accept the loss and start making good things if you want any hope of this industry to survive. Once you've turned off regular people, regular consumers from watching TV and movies because all the messaging is far too heavy-handed for them.
Oh shit. I didn't come in for this shit. I just came to watch the goddamn movie. Hey man, watch the movie. They just said she had a baby. They both women's. How did she have a baby?
Trying to get them back is nearly impossible. That's turning an aircraft carrier. They're already moving on. They're moving in another direction. I mean, you can just see it with all the summer blockbuster box office numbers. They're all underperforming. The superhero era of just being a cash cow is gone. Those billion-dollar movies are gone. Star Wars couldn't be more irrelevant. Those Marvel shows come and go. I forgot Ironheart was a thing. It was a month ago.
She wants a high-paying job, but still wants to be able to steal from that job.
I need a job that pays. And a lab so massive they don't notice if I finesse a resource here or there.
What did Marvel mean by this?
But they really don't have an option now except to create actual entertainment. And I would just love to be there with all these just furious female, non-binary Hollywood activists who are just hate Trump so much, hate anyone thinking conservative, but now they can't just activistberg, they have to actually make content. And I wish I still lived there purely just to see that. Just to see the chickens coming home to roost and the absolute reckoning that you can't just turn everything into commie college girl propaganda and expect to stay in business. That's just the reality. I think a lot of us have comfortably moved on to other entertainment or older things. Don't get me wrong. I want new and good shows, especially in the fantasy genre, sci-fi genre. That's my stuff. But if they can't make good things, it's I'll find myself entertained elsewhere. The comedy content on YouTube is bottomless. The amount of good specials and podcasts and shows that are on YouTube now, it's I'll never even watch 10% of the ones I want to watch. Which does bring me to my last point today.
I have something to say.
There seems to be some kind of pussy-ass pushback or rebellion to the Rogan sphere and the anti-woke comedians. It was certainly led by Mark Maron.
And, Rogan and Hinchcliffe and, just a lot of these people just locked into this anti-woke thing. But now, the government, which is for all practical, good intents and purposes, is an authoritarian government, and we have a fairly dominant fascistic culture. Yeah. So they're using the same language, which is anti-woke, to dismantle all progressive institutions.
But he's not alone. I've seen plenty of YouTube videos, comedy cops, talking about oh, they're not funny, this, that, and the other. And it's look, I can completely understand that back in the 2010s when we were just force-fed the worst comedy.
But I know for sure some people at home are looking at their TVs just is something wrong with my TV? Why are they playing Slumdog Millionaire after Seth Meyers?
What? We take care of ourselves. Look at all the gorgeous girls here. Look at you guys, right? We do so much. Do you guys remember, do you remember bread? Do you remember bread?
Funny comics were sidelined. I mean, Comedy Central destroyed their entire business to try to do that. But the comedy scene was like a wasteland. It was like a desert, you know, save someone like Joe Rogan, who became the new Johnny Carson, and then just started bringing up all these comedians. And you can debate or discuss like which ones are funny and which ones aren't. But with the myriad of options that we have now, I really don't really see the point. It's like, yeah, there's comedians I don't like who are famous. I don't watch them. And I don't care. I just move on to the other comedians that I do like. You know how many friggin' comedy podcasts there are out there? You know how many comedy specials and comedians? There is no reason to be like a whiny pussy about comedians you don't like. It doesn't make you cool. It's not like, oh, that guy, he's sharp, he's got good taste, he criticizes comedians. It's like, whatever, man. I don't really see the argument. Like, I saw a video where this guy was mocking all the Kill Tony comedians, you know, all those guys who are kind of blowing up, David Lucas and Ari Maddie and stuff like that. And it's like, okay, then don't watch them. Like, what happens if you just don't watch them? You know, nothing. You know what I mean? They'll sell shows or they won't, and you'll go see comedians that you like. Like, I don't understand this elitism that has like emerged in this comedy glut that we have now, where people feel they're interesting if they sit and like weigh judgment on the comics. It's like, first of all, have you ever done it? It's really hard. It's a very hard art to do. So just pass judgment on these people who are like, you know, maybe not the funniest people in the world, but they're certainly not forcing an agenda down your throat. So then it just becomes a matter of taste. It's like, okay, that's not your taste in comedy. That's fine. Go watch someone that you like. I really don't understand all this kind of, the Rogan's feared nothing. It's like, shut the fuck up, dude. Why are you such a pussy? Like, from Maron's perspective, I can kind of understand it because he was like one of the anointed kings of comedy. You know, he's a screeching lib, whatever. So it's like, yeah, he likes being on top of the industry. But for these guys, these casual comedy fans, to make like long, in-depth videos about how much they don't like these comedians, it's like, okay, you know, but comedy is democratized. It's not like Comedy Central and Netflix are the only avenues for comedy. You can not like them, and that's totally cool. I really don't think there's anything wrong with that. But what is this accomplishing? Like, what are you fighting against? Like, what is the goal? Are you just complaining? It's like, okay, man. Like, when people criticize major television shows and movies and stuff, especially those that are agenda-laden, it's like, that's a monolithic industry, right? It's like there's not a democratized film industry where we can just go watch what we want. If there were, like the YouTube industry of criticizing things wouldn't exist, because who would care? You'd be like, okay, well, those do stink. You're right. We'll go watch the things that we like. But it all comes out from the same factory. Watchdogging like the entertainment industry is like a good thing because like they're a very narrow outlet of options, and we don't have like a democratized version. There isn't like an alternative to that. It all comes from the same town and the same few studios. So we're limited in what we can get. So criticizing that carries weight because it's like patrolling all that crap. But with comedy, it's anyone with a fucking camera and a microphone, man. I don't know how this is coming across, but for me, it's just, I see it regularly and it's so lame. It's like, oh, I'm the comedy critic. Are you? Ew. I just don't understand that. I feel like those guys think that they could be comics and they've never done it, so they're like a little bitter and resentful, and then they're like, I guess the next best thing would be to criticize famous comedians. I don't know. I think it's fucking lame as hell. You can not like them. I think that's fine, but making content about it, that's gay, bro. That's really gay. Well, that's going to do it for the first episode of the MFer Show. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, please tell your friends about it, and if you didn't, leave a nasty comment to help my engagement.